Welcome, Aquarius, to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 23rd of February for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. I'm going to share with you, first of all, the upcoming themes of the week, then your event chart on screen. I'm going to unpack that for you. It's always influential for the whole 7 days. I then go through each of those influences frame by frame in detail to give you a clear picture of what you can expect in terms of relationships, finance, energy, and work. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. This week begins with Venus, the planet of relating but also of money, in a very strong location, exalted in Pisces, but forging a link to the planet of fortune, Jupiter, a perfect trine. You could come into this week feeling blessed, not necessarily in terms of how much money you've got, but just a sense of the things that are meaningful in your life. But they can be good for finance for sure. But on Tuesday, a quarter moon in the part of your chart to do with generosity, to do with playfulness and affection, Gemini, links to the sun, like Venus, in your second house, urging you to build up your foundations in a robust way. But that is a quarter moon where we could encounter someone who might try to take our generosity for granted. Then again, we may be in the mood for a little bit of uh, an impulsive buy. And then on Thursday, Mercury also, like Venus and the Sun in Pisces, goes into the first of its retrogrades this year, all of which are in water signs, again, Pisces. And that suggests through to the 20th of March, you could rethink or try to squeeze a bit more out of your daily budget and how you use your resources. But we also have this week Mars coming to the end of its journey in your zodiac sign, where he's been for the last 5.5 weeks, really encouraging you to have a lot more confidence to go for what's right for you, the individual. So on the screen is your event chart, and there is Mars. Now, Mars is the planet which is, in terms of its rulership of Aries, is about individuality, but it's also about thrust, assertion. It can be impatient, and it's squaring off this week, all this week, to Uranus, your modern higher octave ruler. And the chances are that if you do encounter some frustrations this week, they could feel quite profound. And just be conscious of that, because if you factor that into your thinking, it will help you to understand if you do feel a bit irritable, if people are winding you up a little bit more because perhaps they don't share your values or they don't respond as quickly as you would like. But do know that Mars is going to join with this posse of players in Pisces on the 2nd of March. And for the 6 weeks following that, that will give you plenty of opportunities to really be determined to improve your lot when it comes to your income. But the second house can be about how we value ourselves. It doesn't have to be about tangible resources. And I think because Mercury goes retrograde there this week through to the 20th of March. It is a chance to rethink. Mercury is about thinking, also discuss how you value yourself, how you use the money you do have, but also how you can be creative to make more. And Mars will definitely help you from the start of March. But just this week, just be aware that is quite an agitated right angle. Ironically, when Uranus first moved into Taurus in the middle of May 2018, Mars was just on the last degree of Capricorn, then moved into Aquarius for the entire summer, was in a retrograde, which happens every couple of years, and the two were basically not on good terms for the whole of that time. And if we think about it, Mars can be to do with impatience, it can be to do with aggression, it can also be to do with war. And unfortunately, during Uranus's journey through the sign of Taurus, we have seen that colossal war in the Ukraine, the Palestine situation as well. And the cost of living has gone up a lot because Uranus is a very volatile influence in Taurus, which is the sign of money. But for you, it's or has been in the part of your chart to do with your emotions and your family life. And that could be the area, if you feel penned in, there is a lack of space where you live, you could use that high energy um, leverage of Mars applying to Uranus to create some physical space this week by decluttering. And that would be a good thing to do. And you can also make some money because if you sell off anything you don't use all the time, that can bring money into your coffers, which is governed by that Piscean energy. Now, of course, your traditional ruler Saturn moved on the 14th of February back into Aries, which it had left after its brief visit last year of 3 months and a week on the 1st of September, and then last week applied with Neptune in that exact conjunction. Now that's slightly separated now. You can see Saturn's moved on. Saturn's going to get up to 14, just over 14 degrees this year by the 26th of July. And what I'd say to you is that in your third house, it is encouraging you to be a bit firmer about what you believe in, because perhaps Neptune, in the time it was in Pisces for all but the 6 months last year, since 2012 full time, did make it difficult or more challenging to really equate value about yourself, but even about your possessions or your efforts. And I think this combination here can be about how you think, but also be about your ideas, often strong with Aquarius people. So if you've got good ideas that you feel can give you a return financially, do continue to believe that so, and don't let Mercury's retrograde deflect you and think that the following 3 weeks can only be challenges. Now, of course, if you're buying something online, you need to be precise. If you are trying to sell online too, if you are thinking about or if you're thinking about some new digital equipment, Mercury can be linked to communication. Make sure you do your research because Pisces energy is very mystical, but it can distort a little bit and make it more challenging to get to exactly the nub of what something is about. Now, later in this week, we are going to see Sun step forwards and combine with the North Node, and Venus step forwards and combine with the retreating Mercury. And there may be good news financially. And sometimes with Mercury retrogrades, because the prevailing view is that it can only cause mischief, can be a time to reset, recalibrate, and go again. So think about that because something could actually fall into place that you've wanted to achieve for some while. But I think the overarching theme of this week is to believe in your worth. If you believe in your worth, you will attract worth. And I think that Venus and Jupiter on Monday give you a fabulous opportunity to do that. You may feel like a splurge on the back of that quarter moon, or you may have to resist helping someone who may need to stand on their own 2 feet a little bit more, particularly an offspring. If you have got resources, try to find ways to use them more efficiently with Mercury's retrograde. So when it comes to relationships, I feel that the value or the value systems of the people that you're connecting to are very important. It's quite an old-fashioned principle, isn't it? Connect to people who have shared values, but I actually feel that holds very firmly true for you this week. When it comes to your work, with Jupiter in the sixth house, which can be about jobs, there is an opportunity for progress and your finances can be blessed this week. Your expectations need to be realistic, and you may have to contain your spending because Venus in Pisces can really see us drawn towards splurging on things, to be honest. And when it comes to your ideas, they do need to be structured well. So if you're pitching for anything, a job, doing a presentation, As long as you can present something that shows demonstrative value, that could snare you that job, that new situation. Discover what March holds in store for you by clicking on your March deep dive video on the screen. Also, on the second screen gives you the opportunity to join me at my new website. There's lots of exciting information. It's not generic like a lot of horoscope sites are. It's all written very much from the heart, and it would be great to have your company. And if you've yet to order your personal horoscope forecast and life roadmap combination at 50% off, if you get the Natal version, please apply Astro 26 at the checkout and you'll get that 50% off. If you'd like to understand your soul or karmic version, the draconic option, please add at the checkout Draco 26.